Hi, I'm one of the WorldSkills judges. My name's Jackie and I'm here to help you on your competition journey and to show you some little tips and some areas to look at when you're actually competing. So this is the Open Nail Technician competition and we're going to go through 4 stages. So the first stage that we're going to go through is the tip application. The second stage that we're going to go through is product application. So at that stage, we're going to look at the cuticle area, the apex. So we're looking at the whole structure. Then thirdly, the third stage is going to be filing and finishing. So when we look at filing and finishing, do we use a top coat or do we buff to a high shine? What works best for you? And then lastly, perfect polishing. So we're going to go through how to get that perfect polish, that high shine, and it neat and tidy around the cuticle area to score as many points as possible. I hope you enjoy this. Speak to you soon.
Hi, so this is stage 1 of the WorldSkills competition. So stage 1 was tip application. I'm obviously going to prepare the natural nail first, so let me angle my camera so you can see what I'm doing. So let's just get this in position. Okay, so you can see my nail and you can see that it's in focus. So what I'm first going to do is I'm just going to prep the nail. You don't really need to see this, but I couldn't prep it prior. So just in case you don't already know, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to shape the free edge, just to make sure that I haven't got much free edge. Because I don't want it to see through. It wouldn't matter if I was doing French so much, and it also wouldn't matter if I was painting, but because it's a natural tip and overlay that we're doing, I just want to make sure that there's less free edge there so I can't see it through the tip. So I'm going to shape it to the same shape as a well area, even though the tip I'm using is not a well area. Okay, so once I've shaped it, I'm then going to remove the surface shine. I've already pushed the cuticles back, so I'm going to remove the surface shine of the natural nail. So I'm only just taking the oil off the natural nail and I'm just going around where there's little bits of dead skin around the cuticle area. Once I've took all the shine off, okay, so I'm not trying to make the nail rough, I'm just taking that residue oil and moisture off the surface of the natural nail, okay. So I've took all that off and there's no little bits of dead skin stuck anywhere. I don't need to do any cuticle work. I'm just going to brush my dust off and then I'm going to nail prep. So I'm just going to clean the nail before I put the tip on. Okay, so this is the important bit, the tip application. Okay, because this is where a lot of competitors will lose points on their tip application. So that's my nail prepped. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to size my tip. So first things first, this is really important. If you're doing natural tip and overlay, use a natural tip, okay? Don't use a clear tip, because what a clear tip will do is it'll show all the debris and bits of dust or any bits of glue that are stuck, it'll show them under the free edge, okay? So always use a natural tip because that's what you're doing. Okay, so I'm going to use these natural tips. So when I'm using a natural tip, I check that it fits from sidewall to sidewall. Okay, so let's find one. So we all like to put a smaller tip on to make it look nice and slender, but that's not going to work for your competition. It needs to fit in one side, and then if I look on this side, can you see there's a big gap there? Okay, so I need to make sure it fits from sidewall to sidewall. Okay, so that looks better, doesn't it? Can you see how it comes straight down the side? So I need this side to be totally straight, okay? And I also need the other side to be totally straight, which is a bit awkward for me to show you, but that's how I would look at it, okay? So I want a totally straight line, I don't want any dips. Now this is a normal advanced natural smile tip, okay? What we also have is natural tips that are competition tips. Now there is a massive difference between these, and if you use a competition tip, what you'll find is you may score higher. And what a competition tip has, it has a C curve. So can you see here? It has a deep C curve. Well, if you look at a normal tip, so just a natural tip, can you see there's no C curve? Now what we like is consistent C curves. So when we look at the C curve, we want it to be consistent. So if you haven't used a competition tip, it doesn't mean you're going to score lower, but it does look more aesthetically pleasing for the competition to have this tip. I'm going to use this tip because this is what the majority of you will be using. Okay, so you stick your tip on. I'm not teaching you how to do nails. I'm showing you where to look and what areas to look at. So I'm just going to stick my tip on. Okay, so I'm just going to have to do it this way because I'm doing it on myself. So you stick your tip on how you normally stick your tip on. Again, your tutors are really good. They will have taught you how to stick tips on. But what happens, sometimes you stick a too small tip on. So can you see now how my tip is totally straight? So if I put my file here, it's totally straight. There's no gaps. That's what you want. You want that totally straight line. And again, on both sides, because sometimes what happens is we favour one side over the other. So we need that total straight line. And if we had a C-curve tip, that would be really deep there now, okay? So that's my tip stuck on. I'm just going to clip it down. Now, it doesn't matter what length you do it, but you do want them to be a bit longer than the normal salon nail. Okay, so if you're going to do, I'm going to do square. If you're going to do square, just cut it to the length that you want, because you can't really go wrong with square. But if you're going to try stiletto, or you're going to try another shape, then give yourself a little bit of extra room. So if you wanted it this length, oh, let me show you. If you wanted it to there, then just go back a tiny bit, so you've got room to make mistakes. So I'm going to do it to about here. Okay, so that's the length of my nail. I'm not going to worry about the shape too much yet, because I'm going to do that at the end. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the shine off the tip. But the main thing of this is that we actually stuck the tip on correctly. So I'm going to show you once I've took the shine off what I mean by correctly again. Okay, so I've took all my shine off. There's no glue stuck on my natural nail, and if I need to blend in the tip, just lightly blend the tip in. Although these are no blend tips, we just want them to look even. Okay, so there we go. Push all my dust off. That's my nail stuck on. Yep. So that's what it's looking like. Let me try and get a bit closer, and let's see if I can get. Oh, there we go. And then when I look at it from the side, it's going to be totally straight, and on that side it's going to be totally straight. It doesn't dip in, so we're looking for that straight line coming out for a square nail. Now if you were doing a round nail, we'd still expect that straight line. We wouldn't expect a dip or anything in here. We would expect it to come straight out and round. Okay, that's your tip application. So that's what we're looking at, totally straight sideways. When we look at it from the side, you can see as well it slightly curves downwards. Okay, so it's not stuck on totally straight. Okay, so tip application, that's your stage 1. Let's go to stage 2.